Well, first of all, Prime Minister, welcome back to Newfoundland and St. John's. You're no stranger to this neck of the woods.
No, it's great to be back. See so many old friends and, as always, make new ones.
Now, I want to start this interview by talking, first of all, about an issue that's brought intense criticism of your government, and that is the proposed tax reforms to companies, especially aimed at tightening up some loopholes for wealthy, but small business people in this province say they will take a financial hit. I'm just wondering about the intent of these reforms. Will they match the outcomes?
Absolutely. I mean, I understand the concerns that people have, and we share those concerns. We want to make sure that we are supporting the people who need help and recognizing that people who are successful can do a little bit more. The very first thing we did as a government was we raised taxes on the wealthiest 1%. We lowered them for the middle class. We've been delivering a Canada Child benefit that does more to help 9 out of 10 Canadian families across the country by not sending child benefit checks to millionaire families. So we've been consistent in saying we need to make sure that the middle class doesn't pay more in taxes than they need to. And that also applies to middle class small businesses, fishers, farmers, people who work extraordinarily hard and contribute to growing the economy. We just want to make sure that people using private corporations don't have benefits that aren't available to average Canadians, and that's where we're making a little tweak.
So you say it's a little tweak. Small business owners I've spoken with say that the changes that they can see look punitive to them. Why would an entrepreneur take the risk of setting up businesses we sorely need in this provincial economy of ours? So how prepared are you to drill down, take a second look at the implications of these reforms?
That's something we're doing right now. We're listening to people with concerns, and we're reassuring people that folks who are making $150,000 or less will not be negatively impacted by these changes. At the same time, we're trying to ensure that folks who are successful are paying their fair share, and it's not fair that people who are wealthy have tax rules that they can get out of paying as many taxes and as much tax as middle class families. And that's something that goes to the heart of fairness. But let me be very, very clear, we're not suggesting that folks who have used these rules in the past are wrong or somehow did something wrong. We're just reflecting on the fact that the tax system as it's set up gives too many benefits to wealthy people and not enough to the people who really need the support.
You say you're talking with people, you're listening to people. I know the Premier has expressed his concerns to your cabinet today, but people are wondering, you know, these legislative proposals came out in the summer, probably not a whole lot of people listening at that time. You've given 75 days for consultations, and then you want legislation 2 months after that. What is the rush?
Well, actually, I think you've been very clear that we have heard an awful lot of feedback. We have heard people bringing forward concerns, bringing forward constructive proposals. There's actually been an awful lot of chance to listen to awful lot of chances to listen to folks who have expressed concerns that it not be slowing down our entrepreneurship or stifling our growth. We absolutely agree with that, and that's exactly what this consultation period is all about. And as we move forward with legislation, what we hear from people will be part of it. But we're going to make the tax system fairer for those who really need the help.
People don't mind sticking it to the wealthy. It plays very well to most Canadians. So I'm wondering how much politics is at play here. This looks pretty good to many people.
What we have done as a core definition in our approach to the economy is say the economy hasn't worked as well for the middle class as it should, and it has benefited the wealthy. We saw Stephen Harper for 10 years give all sorts of tax breaks and benefits to the wealthy, and we ended up with low growth for his 10 years. We have actually just now started to see an economy that is coming back into strength, opportunities right across the country, including here in Newfoundland, as people are seeing the economy pick up. And that's partially because we have been putting more money in the pockets of the middle class. When you have a widening income gap, it's not good for anyone. It's not good for the wealthy. It's not good for the middle class. And making sure that our tax system is fair is something that goes to the heart of what this government stands for and the promise we made to Canadians.
Your Finance Minister, Bill Morneau, said not very long ago this afternoon that perhaps it was a communication error, the way details were rolled out. What do you think of that?
I think we have a situation where a lot of people have realized that these changes will take away benefits from wealthy folks, and a lot of those wealthy folks are really fighting to keep those benefits that they have, and they're making a lot of noise. And that pushback is something that we understand and we're hearing, but quite frankly, I've been here in Newfoundland over 24 hours now. I've had a lot of conversations with folks, and not that many people are talking about this. It's just great to be back in Newfoundland. It's great to be talking about the innovation, the opportunities, and the focus that the federal cabinet has on building a strong Newfoundland.
One of the things you mentioned is the economic boom, for want of another word, that the Canadian economy is enjoying at the moment. This province is not enjoying that. It is struggling. We hear that outmigration, demographics look bleak, gutting our rural communities. What do you say that to people who live here about the assistance that Ottawa can provide beyond words that say we're important?
Oh, well, we've put forward $100 million for the Atlantic Fisheries Funds with money guaranteed for Newfoundland and Labrador. We've been working extremely closely with the Premier Dwight Ball, who's been a great defender of Newfoundland and Labrador interests, but also not just responsive, but looking towards the future as we're investing in innovation, as we're looking at bringing in more immigration to Newfoundland and to the Atlantic provinces that are going to sort of turn around some of those demographics. There's a lot of exciting things that we're looking at in terms of investing in a stronger future. When we talk about the benefits of the Canada-Europe Free Trade Agreement, the proximity of Newfoundland to Dublin, to continental Europe as compared to the rest of the country is going to be a tremendous advantage here. There are all sorts of exciting things happening, and we know it's going to require a little work, but if there's one thing I've always seen of Newfoundlanders, it's an ability to roll up the sleeves and make great things happen through will, through positivity, and through a lot of hard work.
Prime Minister, you're in St. John's for these couple of days, but you are going to be in Labrador, according to news this summer that you are prepared to travel to Labrador and deliver a personal apology to survivors of residential schools there. When are you going?
We'll be going soon. We'll be making an announcement about that. For me, it'll be a great chance to get back to Labrador. It's a beautiful part of the country that I love deeply. And this is an important step in the healing journey and the reconciliation that Canada must have with Indigenous peoples, how we improve the Crown to Inuit relationship, the nation-to-nation relationship in a true spirit of partnership and respect. Includes recognizing mistakes of the past, and it'll be an honor to apologize on behalf of the Canadian government.
As you know, the survivors of residential schools in Labrador had to fight in court, had to fight the federal government for 10 years to finally have a resolution to this. They had to bare their souls in court to bring back memories, decades-old painful memories. I don't think anywhere else in the country they had to do that. You talk about healing and reconciliation. Do you feel the weight of this apology that you are going to deliver to make that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a really important step in the healing process of recognizing that Canada failed its Indigenous peoples. We failed in our responsibilities on paper, but we also failed in the spirit of the country that we want to be, and there's an awful lot of work to do. And yes, I feel a tremendous weight on behalf of the government, a responsibility towards Indigenous peoples, but part of that weight is also the responsibility that I have for Canadians, non-Indigenous Canadians, who want to see us fixing this relationship, want to see us righting past wrongs and moving forward in a way that gives every young person, wherever they are in the country, whatever background they're from, a real and fair chance to succeed.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with us.
A real pleasure.